88.5 na the entire Pujon district to Liberia border, and radio calling 10 90.0 na Cambia, and Self Radio Moa 105.5 na Kailaon district. The program na Good Morning Salone. You can be part of them by way you can send a text message to the number 0779819881. 0779819881 are the number for sending text message and be part of the program Good Morning Salone. As you read from one Power Airline Stories, them today we talk to the Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority, Dr. Samuel Jibao. Well, for that, I want to welcome Dr. Samuel Jibao now the program Good Morning, and welcome to the program Good Morning Salone.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, I'll continue for the week. We will come back to you inside the program Good Morning Salone.
Okay.
Well, the first issue they look at inside the program this Wednesday morning now outside the idea for many people and go to use face mask. Now one way well body workman and around the world they encourage people and for do so that the corona sick not go scatter past how it did. Well, this make the authority and different country them. They encourage people and for use face masks and self salon. Now one pan the country them outside authority them we don't say from Monday June 1st. Now the same way all man where they go to public place been supposed for they put on them mask them where then they go out. Well, for know how this sounds and like Cheno Jello been go back on a different part of Puton, and we go now listen to waiting if you're not.
At SMAP between Shaka Street and River Street, I can see people, Plutonians, don't they follow the measures the government puts in place here. All man they want a public place for put on face masks. As government don't say, June 1st there will be arrest people when they want a public place and not put on their face masks. So families have been telling earlier on I know the from money houses and I say I know wear face mask.
You don't get the money for buy the face mask. They will not see they can give it. Because they give you no more, we wear them. But this face mask they sell at 5,000. And 5,000 they forget money, forget 5,000 is no problem. You transport to the place safe, so the pass at first account. So what I cannot draw. That I get the 5,000, I will take a buy mask. That is what like giving face mask. You know where?
You know me say pass you buy the mask. You self you will make marks so you never try for sell best you will make marks by yourself.
You don't sabi. Anything I sabi. What you not sabi, not sabi. So if they are not sabi, pass and sell and give me. Because you all not sabi, why? Then they are not the same again. So all not for me. But not sabi for me. I think you blame the sell and
prior to this term, organization every day out with the face mask.
Me are not meet up here. Me are not meet up here. I don't go say they not for me not meet up here. I me are not wear that. Because I meet up here, then I go wear that.
Well, we go take another concern from other people then. We tell they will take on this face mask.
But today, we can get now for that protect your life. But the second now sick there, so we learn for protect life.
So how you go about forget this face mask?
I mean, this one I fix for right now. Now, no partner in Kai and a piece. And we all have people and say, I can't take face mask, so they on our name account.
Say before she don't put on this face mask.
No, I don't put on so far. You are the buy, what start for buy on the main. Because this buy, not all man unfortunate to get money. Some people don't go unfortunate to meet up or get one gun or 2,000 back. But some not get.
That another concern from one concerned citizen. We'll get more people like I tell earlier on. I don't know between before such a Castillo State. The sound the opinion of Plutonians and what are the take on the face mask so government say come out for put on the fake kind of public place.
Because now the good thing, this people therefore protect themselves and make sure social distance so that's when the government is sick to the common of the country.
I tell you first you don't put on face mask.
No, I used to pitch and facing out. I get some frequent thing on the back, then on the back fix and the put on into one kind of trouble and the put on the face mask.
How you go about forgetting this face mask?
Well, I play in a bar by
how much is that?
3,000.
So far, so good, I go assess the level of compliance for people with regards to this face mask.
Well, I believe say what comes on a see, but people really use them.
Close to me, I get a lady who I see it cannot on. First time, what he cannot on.
Well, I can do my normal shopping, what I can do, but every other day.
You know, one person cannot on today. You see, get face mask. Why make it exact for protect? Is it that because of government shutdown for why you put it because of you want to protect yourself? Which one am I about?
Well, I not put them because government say I for use them. I use them because I feel say I get responsibility first as a citizen for protect myself. Even before government pass law say you therefore use face mask. Me all the time when I go to public places I dey put face mask. I'm making buy for myself always where I dey use my mask them. But when I say for one I can salon, na me dey buy. But I think say na a right call for make the government at least let them provide mask. Mask are just one of the basic things that way any government can give to a citizen.
This law don't kind of tongue. I go assess the level of compliance from people.
I think say it great. People are really comply and that's a good thing for the public to obey.
So from the central business district area, I've been decided for taking walk. Come down na building we one officer we start about 9 ministry department agencies in the country, and this place now is very key to most Salone people as each and every day people in the come at this place, hundreds of people within at this place most of the time. So I work at the compliance rate on this side and I don't enter the place. And one thing we first see before we enter the place that security personnel and then at the first gate and about 2 buckets of water inside the back for one CN and put a face mask before you enter the main building. When you enter the main building back, you get a water tank, you say go CN for the second time, and they actually also back put a face mask in case you don't pull the face mask during the time you can inside the main building. And when you put a face mask, they can access the main building. So I'm not happy and I decided to take a walk on each and every office. I start from the first floor, second floor, to go to the last floor. And one thing back I observed that for any floor we reach, security personnel and they actually say for what's young, and get bucket, and get soap, and then get hand sanitizer. If what's young, if you want the hand sanitizer, then you wear your mask, you go in the office, beside the go. And when you come out over and the same thing, they actually say you don't wear your mask. The level of compliance rate, likewise, at this place is very high. And even though we feel the default, but we see a lot of people put on their face masks and just a few really default. From leaving the office and Fulton, for the Society for Radio Democracy, me, Nachama Jalo, the report.
Alright, from that report today, we come back to the studio and continue for look at more issues. Now the program as we told you this morning, they can talk to the boss, now the National Revenue Authority, where na Dr. Samuel Jibao. The National Revenue Authority, set up by an Act of Parliament inside 2002, get the responsibility for collect tax them, where na income tax, goods and services tax, and self-import tax them. Well, then they also for formulate and implement tax reforms them, where this the help for increased revenue collection in the country. Well, as we all know, where the coronavirus being reached na Salone on the 31st of March this year, the concern we been there now how government will continue for run the country. Where it be say the coronavirus now one way they make plenty institutions. Some of them don't stop for work now. People then they don't lost their job. And self tax collection now one big challenge for ensure say the country economy continue for run, even though the fight against the coronavirus they continue. When that make today we get the NRA boss now for can tell we waiting and waiting the NRA don't put in place for ensure say then continue for collect tax even though the country still affects the corona sick. But before we can talk about then reforms and the way NRA don't put in place now currently, we want to use for continue for collect tax, doctor. Let me start for now. Waiting have been the position of the country before the corona outbreak being starts in the country in terms of tax collection from NRA. How the country been there?
Okay, thank you very much, Mabel. Well, you know, from where we take over, I mean, almost 2 years, well, about 2 years now for me, and the tax collection, but only on the positive trajectory path, meaning that year on year we will only see the revenue increase by over 1 trillion, you know. So yeah, we'll be there on the right path, and even in the first quarter of this 2020, you know, we entered the quarter with very high hopes. You know, we are in the targets on weighted targets for day now be like 25 billion. So meaning we'll be the move from then 20 billion, 21 billion, you know, for the previous years. We say no, this year, because we've been so optimistic, see, the sectors then we don't decline, you know, for example, like the mining sector, where if you look at the share of the mining sector to the revenue, you know, it came down from, let's say, about 14% From then, if you compare when really the mining be the boom in this country, that was like in 2012, 13. We can meet them now, the share was just about 5%. And then up to now, really, the mining sector, the share of the mining sector revenue is still below. So we really expect that with that kind of policies where the NMA, Ministry of Mines, and a whole lot of arrangement, and the mining sector will be really get high hopes. We go increase that share there significantly. So say we start the year with that kind of high expectation that the year will end out with 6.4 trillion. That and be the target. So but then the outturn is that when we start, yes, indeed, January, February, March, be very impressive. In fact, February, March, maybe they talk about over 500 billion we collect in March alone. So you realize the month on average, now be like that 460 billion, and that's, that means on daily basis now about 23 billion. That will not say this COVID impact actually, it starts from I can say right from December when the China be hit. Say we do get more importation from China, we get more importation from Europe. When we enter February, Europe back and shut down because that night are the critical thing. That the particular disease actually what he do was that he ensured say the entire world shut down. We all be the see on our radio. So even importation be challenging, people then goods they not able to come. Certain way they take about 6 weeks initially, now it take a longer time. For even get vessel for come with them. Then of course in March now when we serve actually begin then we get the index case, then the situation go down. So on average, yes, and the 25 billion will be the expect. We get a slight, we get some decline. We get a decline of course naturally because like I say, and the economic activity now with the tax, you understand? So you come off from 25 will be the expect, gone down to 23 billion in the first quarter. Then second quarter we don't enter, we would now really with the lockdowns, the number of days we don't reduce, it don't count down further to 21 billion a day.
So now we look at the various taxpayers, from very big taxpayers to medium taxpayers and to small taxpayers. Which one of the sectors affected really in tax collection? We don't see the reduction in NRA tax.
Yeah, so if the big taxpayers then are one. For example, like they talk about the mining, let's say the precious minerals, like diamonds, gold, etc. The expectation be there, and not to say they're not be the mine. And when this policy come for fatal disease, where they say flight, we shut down with borders and the airport, precious minerals, then your exportation are through plane, and inside plane and they go with them. So you see, say they get a huge stockpile of diamonds, but they're not able to export them. In addition to that, besides that, they say even because Europe, who said they can go sell, also shut down, markets on be there for them kind of products there. So yes, the large taxpayers are equally affected, and the small taxpayers, all these the sector. But the immediate sectors are really where it hits. Now the tourism sector, like I'll say, because say tourists there in a plane, inside plane in the GAM, when so that affect what we call the foreign travel tax. Then we talk about the airport workers, all the agencies, like they have there's small agencies and we be the sell ticket and all them say shut down. They're not so large taxpayers, but they're small taxpayers, but then kind of thing. Even hotels, you get small restaurants then, someone even decide for lay off. So in general, it affects all the sectors.
You make mention of diamond and mineral resources. Inside the Quick Action Response Program launching, the bank governor say for CC, like them assist them, Salone government assist the mining sector, governments they buy diamond from them and storm. How then they help una in tax collection and self avoid the things that we talk about so as one of the challenge them?
Yeah, so basically what we do was that we right now constantly frequently the monitor the revenue streams, all the revenue areas. And so when we get these requests from one particular mining company, say, you know what, we're not getting markets now, we don't export, we're not able to sell, so they are when one level when I defer the tax. As a responsible government, you know, say then kind crisis period, what you get for do, you get for think outside the box. You get for look at all possibilities. If the international market, the market for that product, they don't go down, and also and you know, so you got to look at all options. So in one of the meetings I come up with Andy, and the bank governor is so generous. He said, you know what, as part of this, because it's a teamwork, we as bank we go able to buy them precious minerals and get as reserve. They get the capacity for that and keep them precious minerals as long as they wish, you know. So yes, engagement don't start. Well, they don't start for talk with the companies. Unfortunately, the companies are back still for the in agreement. So the arrangement on their own, but we know actually operationalize it. But because anything and they not to one day no more, not to these are huge and things and transaction and the sustainability, everything they get for look at them. So yes, the transaction. We hope say once that agreements on go now then start, then this issue of deferred payment for the mining companies, because for that particular company we are not there for call the company name, we're talking about over 12 billion we owe me. You understand where I don't defer from. And also we serve as responsible government, we get for make sure say they know not the deferred payments you get for behind. Why? Because you know want to lay off workers, you know. And so now a win-win situation in there, that arrangement with the bank. Because now here is a situation, now two options. Either you shut down or you continue for the in business. You know, and if you continue for the in business, government will benefit not only in taxation but also the workers, because these are Sierra Leoneans. Anyone Sierra Leone will lost in job now serious impact on the economy. You know, so yes, that arrangement. I'm very happy that yes, that arrangement and Abraham can up and then because that a teamwork, the Bank of Sierra Leone pick on that and say yes, they can able come in and provide a local market for that.
So apart from that particular arrangement, say when I want part the measures them now we government is for ensure say tax and revenue generation continue even though the fight against the coronavirus they continue. Waiting again new NRA bring the system for Leona continue, especially so we look at the goods and services tax, because the goods and services you nothing with corona no corona na everyday business where people and they deal with. Waiting the day as arrangement in that particular department.
Okay, so we are taking first on along the policy language. You know, what we do first and then as government, because in a part of government clearly, the very important wing in government. Now for ensure say that goods are not shorting, that's the first thing. Because when we watch the other economies and even big nations, you find out say when this corona hits, this COVID hits, you go to supermarket for you don't get goods then you know they. So what we do is we come in, we say, okay, you know what, we will allow you for import, you know, so that you will get free some capital. When you come with the goods then, we will delay the collection of that import duty. So meaning we will allow you for import and store and stock the goods then, and you only pay at the time when you're ready for sale. And that's go a long way, coupled with the fact say the bank also they give a loan at a reduced interest rate. You know, so that go a long way, and a lot of companies, businesses, and not only importers, even domestic producers, don't they benefit from that. So we go about that. So now the beauty, the advantage to me is that yes, sign where somebody for cow 20 containers. Now you don't tell and say, well, they delay your import duty. Again, now the capacity for cow like then 30 containers. So throughout the year, you understand that throughout the period so far, we see some goods and day. And once goods and day, then they sell there, at least we will get with tax small. Although, like I say, we get the tax based on the deferred payment, a payment plan then now, because also you get for make life a little comfortable for the businesses, because what you know one, now for see businesses rapidly closing in the economy, and that don't help a lot of the arrangements a lot. So now I make sometimes then you they see vessel not they come 1 week, but the vessel not they come, no vessel not come, but yet the import duty be huge. We will collect that weekly a substantial import duty. that way. Why? Because the goods them don't already come and they don't stock them, and at the time then the ex warehouse.
Cooperation dey from the business people, and because people where they do business normally they can say they can watch for opportunity we go make themselves make them profit, but no one for pay tax at the end of the day. Cooperation don't they from them with that plan they will not get to them so.
Yes, cooperation there, and what we do also now for ensure say people do not abuse the system, because again this kind arrangement if you know really do some robust monitoring, people then capable for abuse the system. So what we do is one, again I engage most of the businesses. If you get the capability for doing, you not come for this kind of arrangement. The reason is not defer with the defer the payment. You understand? Which we don't want. Again, are conscious about the recovery. I don't want that situation where you build up areas so much after the COVID now for pay, then that can have the business in it. So we look at even their financial statement, we look at really whether this person not get that capability for able to come with that kind of huge amounts of containers and then or raw material, you know, it will able pay. So we need for get that breathing space. Again, it is in their own interest, because we therefore members say, no matter what, by God in your power, this COVID get for done. And if COVID done, you still get a responsibility area is huge. So now we do alongside with education and monitoring and asking a lot of questions.
So earlier we start for talk, you talk about the targets of NRA for reach. With them measures them we you they talk about now, NRA still maintain that target or NRA position?
The point here is we're not too sure when the COVID is done. What I mean sure of is that as I sit here, we don't do a recovery plan. If today they say COVID don't done, the whole world are open, I sure say the rate at the speed of adjustment is very high. We will adjust quick. We'll go back to the normal path. We'll go for, but if this same status quo it continue, you know, as the economic team, the quick action response, they already do some forecast. You understand that if this trend continues till to December or September, October, November, up to December, the situation arise, then say we will lose about 1.1 trillion, which is a huge dent. But also then that forecast day, now the expectation that the whole world will remain for being shut down. But the good thing is that we don't begin to see China don't open up gradually. People they don't, you know, as situation they come, as innovation they come. We they see now importers, they know they travel, but they can there, you know, they send the money, they able to come with their containers. So if that continue, then I'm pretty sure say even if we go down, we're not going to go down that kind of way the way we don't expect.
This is the 6 months inside year 2020. Now we talk about now to September, and COVID be don't reach now we don't hit the world before it comes Salone, and you say Salone be don't already be affected because of the resale goods in the come out. What are the loss in revenue collection due to COVID-19?
So I decide for on daily basis.
Okay.
You understand it? I say the target for this year that like on average now 25 billion. For the 5 months now, 25 billion a day. For 5 months now, if we take the average for the second quarter, now this second quarter, with 2 months, the average collection now, a daily collection at 21 billion a day. So meaning we don't come out from 25, we don't count on to.
So what about the yearly targets we una can set? Una go able for meet the one we have been set for 2020?
The yearly target now, and that I explained for saying, if the COVID stop, let's say by September, we get a couple of months for go. Because we don't already get a recovery plan, we can able to recover faster. Again, also it depends on how fast the businesses then will able to recover also. You understand? For example, if the hotel then it not take that long for them to recover, the flights then it will come and the businesses and related
so right now more or less.
So right now as we talk, like I say, the quick economic response based on their forecast, then they say the target will come down to 5.36 trillion from 6.4, meaning we lost almost like 1.1 trillion. But we are very hopeful. Again, the target will be based on the worst case scenario, that is if the economy continue for short term. So let's see how it go. Yeah, let's see how it go, how this June will look like. Then we'll be able to get a much clearer picture. If the economy begin to open up small, and the business is able to recover very fast, then we are very hopeful that even if we miss the targets, it's not going to be as too significant.
All right, continue further with you at the studio, Dr. Samuel Jibao, Commissioner General na NRA. We'll come back to you.
The program na Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Real Democracy 98.1 FM. We continue to look at more issues in the program Good Morning Salone. Now we go to Parliament. We say member in Parliament Thursday, June 2nd, don't agree for make lawyer Robert Kowa be the new chairman for the Corporate Affairs Commission. Lawyer Joan Bull, member Board of Directors Salone Local Content Agency. Paul Masakwa, Executive Director, Salone Maritime Administration, and two other one them. For more on this, we join Princess Pierce.
The third session of the Fifth Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. First report of the Committee on Appointment and the Public Service Parliamentary Vetting of Presidential Nominees.
That's the chairman for the Committee on Appointment and Public Service Commission, Honorable Matthew Sanyuma, may present the people where the committee be don interview after we President Bill been pick them for work na different sector.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Committee on Appointment and the Public Service, in tandem with its constitutional obligation, met on Monday, the 1st June 2020, and interviewed 5 presidential nominees. 1. Ms. Joan M.F. Bull, Esquire. Proposed member, Board of Directors, Sierra Leone Road Content, Local Content Agency. Mr. Mohamed Kalon, proposed Chief Executive Officer, Road Maintenance Administration. Mr. Tafsir Ibrahim Njai, proposed member, Corporate Affairs Commission. Mr. Paul Toba Masakoi, proposed Executive Director, Sierra Leone Maritime Administration. Mr. Robert Bauma Kuwa, Esquire, proposed Chairman, Corporate Affairs Commission.
The Road Maintenance Fund Administration na government body where the fund where the sector together na for maintenance the road them na the country. Where the season make, the leader for the Coalition for Change Party, Honorable Sir Emasi Lamina, being concerned about and withdraw the attention of the new Chief Executive Officer na the sector.
I deem the office of the Road Maintenance Fund very, very important. The 2010 Road Maintenance Fund creates a way where somebody buys fuel today, definitely a money is stored. At the end of the day, it is quantified, accumulated for the maintenance of our feeder road. I must confess here, as a former mayor of Peru City, the Road Maintenance Fund has been one of the institutions that have been strengthening local content policy in Peru City in maintaining our roads. Mr. Kalan has been reliably informed that since 2018, first and second tranche of money being transferred to those local councils, they are yet all eyes and all ears to receive other tranche of money, which means you need to work very hard so that there will be life in the 22 councils. So Road Maintenance Fund, if it is usually diverted to those overachievers, it will do us a whole good.
Honorable Ibrahim Ben Kabo, now the deputy leader for the main opposition APC party in Parliament, said been talk to the people and more presidents will pick this term. For how do the work with the president will pick them for doom?
Time, Excellency the President meets one of his statutory requirements by sending names here for approval to serve in the public service. We on this side have always been willing to cooperate with the other side. I will start, Mr. Speaker, by emphasizing the point and by also noting that we hope that the change that has taken place, that has led to the appointment of a new Director General at the Maritime Administration, is a decision that is taken in good faith, and that we will not experience a repetition of the difficulty that that institution encountered recently. We have already been reminded that within a very short time, less than 5 years, we had 3 people serving there. But alas, whenever they go there, they come back here not performing. Now we only hope that the new gentleman will not disappoint his party. Because all the appointments are based on party. We also hope that in supporting you, the rules of engagement are achieved.
After a member of parliament them, he don't agree for the people of President Bio can pick. Member of parliament them knocking gladly and like the way how they can behave. Where this make the leader of government business, Honorable Matthew Numa, being concerned boards.
We are very careful in selecting people who serve in various capacities. But sometimes it's very difficult to put a proper distinction looking at the CV and the performance of individuals. Some people, when they get to the offices, they just metamorphose into something else. They try to be selfish. They don't even pay respect to members of parliament. They don't take oversight seriously. So, Mr. Speaker, changing, coming with people on and off, it's not a new business. If you don't perform, you'll be fired. If you look at the Constitution, Section 61 is very clear. If you don't perform, there is the right of the President to hire you and fire you. So for me, I don't have a problem with that. If you don't perform, you must be fired. Performance all the way. This is the new direction.
After the different debates for member of parliament them being agree for them people here. Where this make the member of parliament here, they hope for CC, then people here will deliver what them promise say them will do. For Radio Democracy, this is SPSC reports.
Salone Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salone Link money transfer for send money to anybody elect you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office elect you not get the account number. Buy Ed-Salite, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for the boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all your supplier them, sell forex to Salone Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store or go to Salone Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value.
The Anti-Corruption Commission want for make all government workmen they know say the last day for declare the income, assets and liabilities now May 31 or before that 2020. Punishment go there for the one day we not declare by this term.
All government workmen where they elect, them politician them, all the one they were grade 7 and above, and the one they serve what they lower grade, but same way so they deal with money.
Any government workman where then sack, retire or resign for declare. All the government workmen for declare after every 2 years. That means say now 2022 we go get the general declaration back.
You can also declare your assets online now www.anticorruption.gov.sl.
If you fail for declare, then go force all your salary. If you still not declare, then go suspend you. And if you still make tranga yes, then go sack you after 3 months.
Make sure say you declare your income, assets and liability so that you don't go get what Allah.
This message they come out from the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Alright, the program is still listening to now Good Morning Salone. They come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Now the studio this morning we get the Commissioner General now the National Revenue Authority, Dr. Samuel Jibawe. They talk about seeing them what NRA don't they do for ensure so they continue for collect tax and let the revenue generation continue even though the country affects the coronavirus. Let me look at the issue now of monitoring because this not to normal times. Like we've been beginning discussed earlier, some business people the way they use this as opportunity for let themselves go make their own quick profits and at the end of the day it be a loss to the revenue collection for the general good. Waiting at the strategies them way NRA they use for ensure so na continue for monitor because for example some members of parliament being go upline, Usai Balamoya na one point of stop usai then be say at that time when they go there they meet people NRA workman they undervalue certain commodities them where they may bring come inside the country. So waiting at the measures them way una don't put in place for let una ensure say revenue collection not change just because this na coronavirus period.
Okay, thank you very much, Mabel. Kabidi say, of course, even other facilities where government give, you know, with the intention for ensure say we get adequate supply of commodities and items in the country, then I then tax deferral. Then I don't emphasize say the people that want for is the tendency they for let people they misuse. And so we're quite aware of that. So now that make we decide, I mean, we put in place, we get a lot of monitoring system in place. Now we do a lot of data matching currently, more than how we don't do first now. We look at all the importation within the system. We don't even involve in that kind of analytical work for a sure say, yes, we can able to track any side, we say problem there, I can able to pick them easily and say, oh guys, yes, now we don't change slightly the way we do things. Instead of going to post in premises for go do audits or field audits, now more of desk audits we do. But within data not the lie. Data not the lie. Even from the mere data, no more say go don't see something happen. Now with respect to the issue we explain them border, of course say we borders and really the spread we get challenge now the borders, and myself don't take me commissioner of customs and the other commissioners that will go now the same border beside the MPB they talk about. The only thing is that we get to understand how the tax they operate. Normally we would talk about things in the common area and go out. Say the principle said once an export past them precious minerals that the taxer. So if you don't understand that, then you see people that go with things and no more. Now only administrative fee we supposed to take. They say, oh, there are a lot of things that way they go to Guinea, then they come on here, they go to Guinea, we're not able to tax them. Yeah, the one that way they come in also we got to look at which one then are the taxable things. Then again, see them two countries then some area then in a small people then they across the water, then they come with them 1 or 2 bags, 3 bags. But again, when I go and discover, say yes, I need for big for the number of staff in that place there, where I don't, and also even in terms of mobility. Now we don't get motorbike, we will send to the staff then, so that we enhance them at school. I'm pretty sure say if the honourable member of parliament go there again, they could get a different story in the next 1 month or so. Things will change, and we not go definitely say we not get challenged with the border. Even without the COVID, we know say smuggling are one of the things we would effect with the guy for really handle. Yeah.
So how you can describe tax collection at the border? Because when you look at Wataki and other areas and when I get the Asikuda system, is it the same applied to the border areas?
Yeah, so the Asikuda actually just in Wataki and Balamoya. The Asikuda not there in Genema for the reason that Genema with structure, right now the building really gets a challenge there. They too low. The way them do a very poor engineering in that place. So where it can rain, the water they overflow. So we not go with that kind of huge IT.
But the one within Agbalamoya is functional.
Yes, the one within Agbalamoya is functional. The Asikuda within Agbalamoya is functional.
Because
the only thing where Balamoya not pick up here now the scanner. Now the scanner will not work. Well, it not work because of couple of issues. But even that one, we intend for engage with this enterprise, this group where they do scanning. I have to see whether we go into business. Let them take over because we get a mobile scanner na Balamoya. But the Asikuda, of course, na Balamoya do work.
So
it work na Balamoya. It work na well, of course, na Lunge. It work na the post office. It work with the oil companies and the EMC.
So with some of them challenge them with the mention so that the border crossing then when they campaign tax collection, you not think that this will lead to leakage which affects the tax collection?
We one thing about a system is not a gradual something. Go say 100% foolproof. Again, let will note say even the official borders even Boku compared to the informal crossing point then we're very huge. The only thing is we don't do a lot of analysis. We don't see say now we know the season normally where the smuggling can be very tense. We know the different topographies and of the areas, and I make together anti-smuggling units. We also they do mobile patrol with their order because no matter the number of staff we're not able to deploy all of them at the same borders. But we work on a lot of intelligence really, for able to track on the number of smuggling. But in addition to that, very soon and hopefully, as part of a plan where they're not even an actor, now the introduction of what we call the tax stamp. So that tax stamp they also will help forfeit the smuggling because in that case, the items the way they come in, you understand, if you not get the stamp, you will not say this item not go to any of the official borders. These are all measures that with the put in place for make sure to fight smuggling. We're quite aware of that.
Like you said earlier, some people get the impression, say then they bring goods or carry goods go out of the country, they know they pay tax for them because they don't know any talk about something and they way taxable and some they way not taxable. So in this case, which one are the one that way taxable and the one that way not taxable?
The one that way taxable.
The major one them.
Like if they come with, for example, cigarettes, you got to pay tax on that. You understand? You got to pay tax, not only import duty, you even got to pay excise tax on that. You know, but if they come with like some agricultural goods, then they where, you know, then they will, the tax rate itself is so low, and some food stuff, for example, like rice. If they come with rice, you know, they charge GST on rice. You understand? You know, so we get a whole lot of that, but we always provide that so we staff then, let them know the schedule. You know, so that they know the schedule of the one that we taxable and waiting at the rates, all than the devaluation module, all than they will don't roll out to the thing there. We go for work more, of course, on the, we will continue for work on the education, because again, you know, say education not to events, now a continuous process. We do we own bit, I think so we don't hype really the level of education now then area than they.
Okay.
But again, me I just remind when I want to Akanaya, I say when I come this 1-2 years, the focus really now what I call the hidden income, meaning now the taxpayers and really where they on will register, so but the tax for them they pay is less. So we don't spend so much time on that. And we don't say this year will be the target saying that the small and medium taxpayers and are really with for broadening. And that's now the COVID effect.
Okay, we can look at this hidden income actually you don't mention. So we come to you back in name now Dr. Samuel Jibao, the Commissioner of the National Revenue Authority. Therefore talk about the work they do now for improved tax collection during this era of COVID-19 na Salone. The program na Good Morning Salone.
We look at other issues of the program now. Outside the European Union, under the Democracy and Human Rights Project, don't sign 2-year partnership project with the National Election Watch New. Outside the Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo say the strength in peace and democracy support where European Union don't give to the National Election Watch will give strength to Salone democracy for make citizens and take part for election and other development projects. And where Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo talk this, where they be pull the Enhancing Democratic Electoral Observers Organization and Citizen Participation in Democratic Governance Reforms leading to the 2020-2023 electoral circle project Nado yesterday. Also, you know, Kabia Bindi and Guna report.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to officially launch this project, which is under a grant contract, external actions of the European Union, with the title Enhancing Domestic Electoral Observer Organizations and Citizen Participation in Democratic Governance Reform, leading to the 2022 and 2023 electoral cycle.
Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo been launched the Enhancing Domestic Electoral Observe Organizations and Citizen Participation in Democratic Governance Reform, leading to the 2022 and 2023 electoral cycle, where this Natsuya Partnership Project, where the European Union, under the Democracy and Human Rights Project, they support the National Electoral Watch new for the 2022 and the 2023 election. Outside this project, new gets for observe all the elections them. We get for happen at the country. New get for the parts of the national civil registration and voter registration operation. Outside them get for the monitor the activity them. We get for happen and serve gets for sensitize people them. Now the different districts them na the country, but the electoral process. Marcella Sambasise, now the chairperson for new, talk about this support and say he would only 8 billion euros to new for implement this project for the next 2 years.
The European Union and the National Election Watch renew their partnership in support to democratization in Sierra Leone. Launched a new 2-year partnership program between the EU and the NIL to promote governance reform and democratization in Sierra Leone. The EU-funded action, valued close to 800,000 euros, that's 8 billion Sierra Leonean leones, seek to enhance domestic electoral observer organization and citizens' participation in democratic governance reform, leading to the 2022 and 2023 electoral cycle. The action will contribute to nationwide domestic election observation of all elections-related activities.
But why the EU decide for giving support to new Tom Vance, now the European Union ambassador to Salone, talk more about this.
Our project with NEW comes at an opportune moment, as it will contribute to both the preparations of the 2022 and 2023 elections in Sierra Leone and the design and implementation of civic and electoral education programs throughout the country. At a time of crisis, it is even more important we rekindle efforts towards national unity by deepening citizens' knowledge on multi-party democracy and fostering values of national cohesion and political tolerance. And NEW is uniquely well placed to undertake this task. The uniqueness of NEW as an organization needs to be underlined here. Unique for at least two reasons. First of all, as an umbrella organization of over 400 civil society organizations, NEW has a broad-based membership and a large access to citizens.
Edmond Alpha, now the acting commissioner and the National Electoral Commission being gets this for say.
It is pertinent to know that legal reform support and gender mainstreaming interventions have started. I am of the opinion that NEW, by extension, will benefit from the EU support to the Commission. These EU interventions will ensure a sustainable improvement of NEC's long-term capacity to carry out its mandate within the electoral cycle in an impartial and sustainable manner, and ensure electoral reforms and democracy are further consolidated. The leadership and membership of NEW over the years have proven record of professionalism as they monitored and observed elections in Sierra Leone in line with national and international best practice. We at NEC will continue to recognize the good work we are doing. You've been working alongside with us. You have been very objective.
Where in the launch this project, the Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jules Lejalo say this will give strength to the country in democracy and serve the involvement of civil society for this process will make citizens them not afraid for vote where in camper election business.
A project of this nature is going to ensure that systematic disengagement of society from the state is halted, it is reversed, and then we get citizens to be interested again in governance, electoral processes, because that is vital to the health of our democracy. This European Union support will no doubt go a long way to enable civil society to play this role. This will allow NEW to encourage, to deepen, and strengthen citizen participation in elections. I also want to thank NEW for the wonderful work they have been doing, and also to inspire them that this funding is coming at a very critical time, at a very vital time, and I'm excited they already have a plan and they are ready to hit the ground.
The Vice President continues say, in not say again, government will form the civil society working group. Also government and civil society organization them will come together and work for the good of the citizens them.
Sooner or later, we are going to write a letter to civil society to establish a civil society working group so that we come and sit down with government to determine the parameters and framework of this dialogue. I want you to take that as an opportunity to engage government and also to begin to build a new practice. That is why we decided to call that dialogue Governance and Development Dialogue Series. It is going to be between civil society and government. We are going to invite development partners. Maybe in the future it is going to metamorphose into tripartite dialogue where you have government, donor partners and civil society. And we believe that kind of space to discuss government issues is vital, and it is going to help our development and political prospects.
Dr. Mohamed Jules Lejalo end up assure the European Union say because of the trust we don't get where in camper election business in the country, NEW go able for use this 8 billion euros where they don't give him for the rights purpose. For Radio Democracy, you know Kabia the report.
Better don't come. A Union Trust Bank, yeah. Union Salone Bank, oh. Union Trust Bank got plenty product and service there for you. You must get waiting you want to go better. Let me save it account, ide. Current account, ide. Fixed deposit account, ide. Credit facility, ide. All for you. Me and you. Me and you. Union Trust Bank Salone for me and you. Kids future savings account, ide. School fees savings account, ide. Pay advance salary scheme, ide. We branch and they all of Mornin Salone. Boko no kelena, ide. Kabala maboko kakabia, ide. Jala fita lonsa, ide. MILC one. Me and you. Union Trust Bank. Me and you. Union Trust Bank. Union Trust Bank Salone for me and you. Union Salone Banco. Union Trust Banco.
Union Trust Bank, empowering Sierra Leonean businesses.
Corona,
Salone gets in first corona case March 31, 2020. And from that time to now, plenty people don't get this sick. But plenty people same way so done well from the sick. After we then carry them go to treatment center and take good care of them. But the sick still in the country.
Plenty people get message them where they can talk, and some of them message they are not even be true. Now that make Radio Democracy with support from Osiwa, they bring to you special Corona update program. Usa you go to get accurate information about the coronavirus in the country.
This program going to be every Wednesday, 12 to 1 o'clock afternoon.
And Master Sabi people them from the well body sector and other people themselves go there for tell you body sick.
The program Good Morning Salone they continue and still on the European Union support as part of them commitment for support Salone people during this term where the coronavirus day in the country. The European Union through the National Authorizing Office don't give €10 million as budget support to government for help and defense against the coronavirus within and the country. And Bruce James, now the director for the National Authorizing Office, where he talk for sake of this couple, say the Salone government been do all things where the European Union can look for before they release couple under the European Union early disbursement program. He explained more to Khadija Bangura inside this interview.
Budget support na something where the donor partners then can provide to the government of Sierra Leone on a yearly basis based on agreed kind of benchmarks that way government for meet for say okay because una meet them kind of thing they then progress there in governance and progress in finances we go na money of this kind of nature. Okay, so the EU under the state building, they can call it state building because now support for help the state. So under the state building contract we get €80 million so that we put aside for Sierra Leone. Each year they can disburse €25 million. Now, out of that €25 million there, we get 10 million when a fixed tranche, and then we get 15 million euros when a variable tranche. Now, we'll explain to you what then to them they mean. Okay. So the fixed tranche, and as until them call, say we go meet general conditions. So not too much rigid indicators than they pan. So general conditions can be like how una policy then they do, now they make progress on this one, they make on different things then. So some of the general policies like a national development strategy, progress on public finance reforms, budget transparency, then kind of issues then they. 10 million can they for. But when it comes to the 15 million, when at the variable tranche, it really get what we call indicators. So you got for proof, say, you don't meet then targets there and then indicators there, and you can prove and with documents. So then they assess all the documents we send and say we agree on this before we release the 15 million.
Their indicator there, so the EU gets any specific one where like they're interested in?
Yes, I mean both, then they jointly meet, both the government of Sierra Leone and the EU, they meet at the beginning of every year or beginning of every 3 years, then design then this structure. Yeah. We then go see now the variable indicators that needs to look for, and are the fixed indicators that needs to look for. All right. So this year, normally the assessment can be done around October, November. Okay, so that by December they don't do the disbursements. We can be both fixed and variable. But this year, because of the COVID outbreak, then thoughts and feet, we all sit down and say, government the struggle right now. You know, not just the Salone government itself, across the world, businesses then they collapse. You know, financial institutions then they collapse. You know, how we as a nation go to help, how the EU as a partner go to help the country for go before. So then they say, well, the only way we can help in the budget support, so we do the early release of this 10 million, way now the general conditions they will meet. When I just progress, they will foresee in things that will happen.
This 10 million, when you look at when are part of the early disbursement, now for help the Salone government, for let them able to manage the macroeconomic stability of the country. Now they don't disburse this 10 million. How Salone government will make sure say then utilize that in some other areas, especially areas where they get challenges during the fight of the COVID?
Well, the government already don't put together a national COVID response plan. They also get a quick action response strategy within they work on. So again, if donor then they give, or a development partner they give this kind of money, you go don't look at their strategy that they then document and then say, yes, then get something, then go to put something towards. So I believe say the 10 million they go towards then kind interventions there for help stabilize the government and for cushion the shock there where the government will get around this COVID period. So I think saying a true then discussion in there and all then document that we government don't produce and the interaction that we don't happen, then say, okay, we'll release this one because of this kind of challenging period we'll get.
With this early disbursement of this 10 million euro, possibility they say, although the government is trying to fight the pandemic, possibility they say EU will come in at any other time of the budget year?
Well, this is not just the budget support side. The way we talk about this 25 million of 10 million we are fixed and 15 million are variable. But apart from that, the EU they support the government in various COVID response platforms then. So for example, under agriculture, the EU they support the Ministry of Agriculture and SLARI, for roll out the COVID response to farmers, for example. Other engagement in the like EU, they plan for support sludge, for move this kind of information and dispelling rumors around COVID. They also they support CRS, with some other agencies that we include the Freetown City Council with about I think it's about 5 million or so. Then they give them for do this kind of thing there.
Apart from the macroeconomic stability with this funding, they help the government for. We also talk about strengthening institutional capacity where it can fund the implementation of the medium-term national development. When I document where governments they use in this area, how this funding will strengthen this particular document where it can fund institutional capacity.
Well, just for note, where the EU they get this money, they also write the government of Sierra Leone. And they note a couple of things, a couple of actions where the government don't take, where they feel satisfied about. So new policies then particularly around education and agriculture. So now we get, for example, the TVET policy. And a big thing for EU, because then things say technical vocational training now a good way for bringing jobs and growth and employability for young people. Under the agriculture, we get the cocoa and coffee policy where they don't pass. In fact, the president mentioned them in speech in Parliament recently. But also, the Ministry of Agriculture got the National Agricultural Transformation Plan. So these are things within they register. They also talk about continued commitment to improve fiscal discipline. They mention about the operationalization of the single treasury account. They also do about electronic expenditure management system. So then they see, say, things that they move. Then they say things that they capacitate, government they capacitate and build institutions and strengthen the structures and the processes there. So now make them they move, now make them they kind of support government for help them push through this. Now, like I say, each of the indicators the way they part of very tranche. Then they also help for bolster government for take steps then. We will make the strengthen the financial as well as other policies then.
In name now Ambrose James, Director for the National Authorizing Office. They talked to Khadija Bangra inside an interview for Seka the €10 million budgetary support where EU give to Salone government for help and defense against COVID-19. The program now Good Morning Salone will come back after the short break.
Because in confusion. But this confused me, boo. Look where Uncle Nat in Wall Solid. Look in block them where them beat for them, where they save solid, and at the same amount of cement and sand then they use for beat me on. But look what in the happen. Me wall down for them, all the block them all don't scatter. It's like say some kind magic they behind this. You want to know the magic behind this? Now the superior quality, extra strong, extra life and extra yield cement where are the use, and that's not Dangote 3X Portland limestone cement. Dangote cement now the highest grade cement in the country. When a 42.5R grade cement, when no one day come na this country, and one of the highest grade pan cement where you go get na the wall. When you want your concrete, wall and block solid, use Dangote 42.5R cement, you no go regret them. You go get Dangote 42.5R cement na all the shop and building material store na the one whole country.
Alright, the program Good Morning Salone, they continue. They come over again to studio guest, Dr. Samuel Jibao. Let me go back to the tax referral we be the talk about. Apart from the supermarkets, them now, waiting at the business words, we directly to go for the tax referrals. And because we learn say some companies and they would already close down, they don't go suspend the license because of the coronavirus. Let me look at the business them where they benefit directly from the tax referrals.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. And like I say, you know, and governments right from, and this maybe will not be due when the last epidemic will be get. You know, say the government make provision for let them businesses here really let them continue for grow and for continue for do business, not to even if not to for grow. But despite that, yes, I mean, you know the pandemic now. There are certain things and the way in order within government you can go. For example, if you get for export something Europe and Europe in business shut down and all, naturally you know we able to do. So we get businesses then we, of course we don't apply for actually they call it temporary suspension that they're not go able. About 25 businesses don't write to me.
Now
that
big
businesses then, na big companies and we don't write say despite all them facilities we don't give not to government your own fault, but the fact of the matter is the external partners then, you know, they're not able to get that kind of demand for their products again, and therefore they get for slow down. And that's not in addition to the hospitality business, like then hotels. You know, some hotel, I remember one hotel person come, he tell me say in the locking hotel because not so only the fact say you don't want you know get better guests, but also you don't want that stigma for say oh that hotel and I begin to think if you get one case they will begin say that COVID hotel. He can't tell me. So these are some of the problems and where would they get. So in addition to that, they close. Yeah, so we get about 25. But also more importantly, you know me normally this month we done, end of April, we expect all businesses then for let them also file their returns. You know what we call the 50th installment payment. But what can happen for the big taxpayers and out of 184 will be expected in the DOAM. Now just about 46% when I 85 now then the file returns. And are they really use this medium now also for appeal to them that they are, if we get issues why you know file returns if you don't apply to me because we get for formalize and for tracker. But if you not communicate your challenges to we and you decide not for file returns, it'll go with penalty. Even if we not take the penalty now, that's something we go now your record way no good. Similarly for them small or medium taxpayers then we get over 80 something way for file returns now less than 300 file returns. you know, and that's all not good, you know, because you get for communicate and to we. So we don't know now whether them businesses and you know, we contact them, you know, for say no, you have to do the right thing. If you want, I mean, government don't make a provision, we give you temporarily three months deferral, we call a 3 month leave, then we go back and assess you. So again, that then are some of the impacts.
So what are the procedure them where the different companies and they go through for benefits from the tax referral?
Yeah, you the right to me, actually. You get for right to me, then we get conditions and where you get for get your financial statement, you get for submit them. We get for really make sure say indeed that one, your products where you deal with, you know, get any local markets now and the international market, the partners that don't close. Then two, your financial position really not going to allow you for continue for pay with tax. So we can able to defer that day. Because again, we don't want abuse of the system. Now you make with the given conditions and they follow you, but let you do that. For the one there, for example, for the import duty, you know, now when they talk say you can import your warehouse, initially now be stiff measure, you don't forget what I call the commercial bank bond. That means you must get some money in your account, you suspend that. But then the all government don't take on board that risks there. You know, so now just effective money is enough for make sure say the goods and then at the store and we'll be able then we'll pay us then the ex warehouse now then places then they, you know. So generally speaking, I can always appeal any time I get the opportunity, I appeal to people then I mean, they will listen to waiting the master savvy people then they tell we about this COVID, because the earlier we make sure say this COVID go hurt them, yeah, the better. Because if the scam continues, where we get them locked down, the number of days don't reduce, we get all the other things and they, because we don't want yield to their advice here, you know, not to the health impact on the economy, it go hit we hard. Okay. In fact, now I can always say, now then time here where you will know whether your structures and they work or not, you know, because if not to be like then kind of structures and what government will they put in place within the different institutions and for strengthening, by now like we're in a terrible situation. But we thank God. But again, if it continues, 1.1 trillion we will lost, that's huge. And that's the reverse, all the gains. Because imagine, you know, this year will be the target now, 15.1, they said 1.1 trillion, if then they come up with money, then in like 13, we don't go back to 13% of GDP. Now that's a big reversal. Okay. You know, so now I make they say, as a nation, that we all really fight the disease, because we don't want that situation where really we're not able to generate more revenue, and it's a bit frustrating for do that.
We can look at the 2020 Finance Act, but before that, before we go for them reports them and interviews, you will talk about hidden income we the NRA don't they work on for solve. What in this hidden income about, and how far we don't go bottom for solve?
Yeah, okay. You know, the last time when I mean, the talk say the strategy, because you know anything you get forget a roadmap. What you really want for achieve. You understand? When I take on board, you know, now NRA, one of the things that we are find out, you know, for example, like GST, over 250 billion, now they ask credit. You understand? Then, naturally, I will not say something wrong, because from 2010 to, let's say, 2017, on average, by right, if we don't pay, do the actual GST, about 50 billion losses, meaning government for even pay the business people. And the essence of GST now for generate income. So that's also not a signal for, say, something was wrong with the system. You understand? That the income when they declare is not proper. And you know what they call that? Even we then get the GST, what we call VIPs, the system, the software. Somebody go declare and I say, oh, I don't import 50 billion. Yeah, worth of something I did inside the VIPs. But we go na the Asikuda, nothing like that, no they. So it's like 4 billion. So automatically don't put that person in the credit position. So all of them in there. So we be not say some money then they. Remember when in the manifesto we continuously be talk about waiting leakages in the system. This we are the huge leakages we be in the system. So when we come, we focus on that before make sure say then income then way they don't hide, then big companies then, because one thing 0.1% of that hidden income is 10 times higher than even the income with the small and medium taxpayer. However, we are not the talk say the small and taxpayers and set up for contribute to national development. I don't always say that. Now I make Abidon Kanaya and talk, say this year we will implement what I call the block management system. You understand? We don't start the process, but now the COVID now will allow it.
So then leakages them we you be the point out to then don't lock now?
Leakage not go lock one day. You understand, eh? So how you lock the leakages, now systems that you put in place. For example, you know, to be the COVID, by now, we for don't pilot what we call the integrated tax administration system, the iTax. Because we don't automate customs. By now, we for don't also pilot the iTax, we will automate the domestic taxes. And you know what? When you automate your system, what you do, now the audit trail, now you clearly map out. Because you see, money, now road did the work out with for enter. And a road did the work out with for come on. Once you're able to track the roadway work out with and the roadway come out, you're able to know which are the leakages in there. So again, the system can able help for do that the better. But again, like I make I say, this COVID really don't affect, because even like that iTax now remote, all the consultants they don't go back. Now remote support now, if not all these virtual meetings, where would they get safe, you know, now remote support no more now than they give it. But we are very hopeful that by God in power, if all Salonians then put their hand on the deck and fight this COVID, so that we'll be able done with this particular this menace, I think say go there in the interest of all of us. Where one, not only the money, but even where you pay your tax, you know, for struggle too much when you get a system.
You said the small businesses said they contribute greatly to the revenue generation, and we see the tax refers more or less don't go to the big companies them where self-owner they get money from, but then why are some of them still struggle for running and get for paid and tax them at the end of the day. Waiting at the thing owner puts for help themselves for ensure say even though they're supposed for the paid and tax the time, but because sometimes some of them businesses they don't slow, then go up cushion, they run them business, but they see how they go pay in tax.
Okay, so like I say, and I be tell you say by now, we for don't roll out what we call this
yeah, but you're not coming in.
It not coming place. We don't delay down because of the COVID, for the simple reason because this get for involve people then visiting then premises. You understand? You got for visit the premise, you got for go and make sure say you value, you look at the business, you encourage the person for campaign. So we don't slow down Dandy for now for the small businesses. We don't slow down Dandy, because if not by now, I tell you say I for don't slow down, I for tell you the amount of small businesses where I don't bring into the tax net. But we don't slow down it because of the COVID. Yeah, and I know say on the quick action program also they get a pillar where they deal with the SMEs. That I know. So it's not that they don't forget about the SMEs. They get a pillar where they deal with the SMEs. Yeah. So not only the big tax payers them with the target, but I mean, other than that, like I say, by now I don't go in now. And honestly, I don't show you figures now about the small taxpayers. But we understand them plight. You know, we just encourage them. They are when still as you do your business, will they still keep your records and small, even for your own benefits. So that tomorrow when we come, it will be easier. You know, fine, we can't tell you say now this you get for pay because you don't get documentation. You know, so now that appeal I can make to them. That will not forget say, yes, we're in crisis, but one day this crisis go down and we'll go back to the normal things. Okay. And the obligations where you get, you still get for honor.
In name na Dr. Samuel Jibao, Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority. They talk about the activities of the NRA during this COVID-19 for generate tax. The program like Good Morning Salone.
Alright, so they can look at message and one I don't send, but quickly let me just quickly go to court and get updates on the alleged treason trial where they go on Usai. Inside this alleged treason trial where they go on at the High Court before Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens, the third accused in lawyer Roland Wright, don't say the number 8 witness, Detective Police Issa Sise 13835, not for talk na court, because from where he say he been investigate retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte inside 2018, he not charge him with any count, and up till now they filed in at the DPP in office for advice. Well, we court reporter Usman Kamara go update we on what happened on this case yesterday.
As the alleged treason case still carry on a High Court before Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens, the number 8 witness, Detective Police 13835 Issa Sise, don't start for talk on a court. Where he start for talk, he say inside 2018, he been investigate retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte, and when he been done, he be carry the file go na DPP office for advice. As soon as where the witness reach this point, lawyer Roland Wright, when the third accused in lawyer, be make objection say this witness not for talk na court pan this case, because he say from where he been investigate retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte, up till now they filed in a DPP office for advice and safe not ever charge them for go court. A carry on say how the witness go testify in a court where they filed in a DPP office for advice and safe not me charge this matter go courts. After this objection, one party lawyer them for the state, lawyer JKACC, be read different section them for show say this witness for testifying a court. We make Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens been say make them allow the witness for talk and after that they go look inside in testimony. Testimony continue and detective police 13835 Issa be tender documents them for say this case carry on. Cross-examination by lawyer Ademakoli. Now that you done your investigation inside December 2018 and the witness, detective police 13835 Issa be answer say yes. Question still continue by lawyer Ademakoli. Usa he asked the witness say, from where you done the investigation, you not ever charge retired Major Alfred Paulo Conto with any count charge. And the witness say, yes, my lord. Now with that answer there, lawyer Ademakoli be end in cross-examination. Witness number 9, Joseph Bokari Noah, and in a staff na the Anti-Corruption Commission. But before he starts in testimony, lawyer Ademakoli be make small observation and say, according to paragraph 4 of the summary report, it shows say the investigation where ACC mean they do still they carry on and they not charge her with nothing and say this not correct. After this, Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens be asked lawyer JKACC for carry on with the examination in chief. Joseph Bokari Noah carry on say it's a be retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte and say a member inside December 2018 wey me dey on duty and me make complaint against retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte and some other people wey me dey work na the Ministry of Internal Affairs. A carry on say after we dem don't make this complaint to the Anti-Corruption Commission, e be give the matter to one Umar Usise, when a senior prosecutor, for look inside this matter where them people ya can do, and say them in the investigate retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte for conspiracy to commit a felony, alleged breach of procurement procedure. A carry on say them contact retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte after we them people ya don't can make this complaint, and he be respond to them. Cross-examination by Ademakoli. Now that Mr. Noah, up till now the investigation not done yet, and the witness Joseph Bokari Noah be answer say the investigation still dey carry on. Now that one question there, lawyer Ademakoli be get for Joseph Bokari Noah when a staff will come out na the Anti-Corruption Commission. After this, Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens be asked the lawyer them for number 2 and 3 accused if they get any question for the witness, and they may reply say no. We make again he may ask the state prosecution team if they get any question for the witness, and SF may reply say okay. Different witness them go continue for testifying a high court before Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens inside the alleged treason case where he look inside. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Mina Usman Kamara, the report.
The program na Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We go can look on our text message then, but quick one, Doc, we look at the Finance Act, where they look at new tax regimes, where you get for do plenty with the new tax regimes, we get for do with alter and introduces new taxes. When it comes on the 2020 Finance Act, wouldn't that the new tax laws them or the new tax policies them we don't introduce when I don't begin implement during this COVID time?
Yes, so the one thing we don't begin implement now, the one dealing with taxation of professionals, that I can tell you for free. And now, when I look at the record, you know, where the money into my revenue daily, I see say yes, the professionals and also that fee, you know, say them we don't say as an administrative way for that we ensure say we professionals and like the lawyers etc. They begin pay, you know, let them also contribute to this tax basket. We introduce a 10% professional fees. So on professional fees as tax now you forgive government. So we don't begin implement that, and the measure we are put in place for make sure say that they happen, for ensure say even the tax clearance for way for issue for transfer of then tied to it, then we not give you if you not pay your own fees. So we don't begin implement Sunday when a good thing.
Quick one.
Then of course, not say we don't also talk about reduction in the corporation tax. We don't also implement Sunday, you know, and because the Finance Act actually this year are more of a more business friendly and provisions now they make in there. You know, they increase the threshold for income tax, they reduce the rates, you know, for corporation tax, etc. So yes, we don't begin make let people benefit from that.
Quick one, when it comes to the Finance Act, where the implementation of one thing we don't come with plenty concern na the floor price of mobile community operators them. We don't come with plenty issues them. For some, the implementation of the floor price see the removal of all bonuses we mobile companies then be the give to people and we some like now they then be the use for like communicate during this time of COVID-19.
Yes, so the Finance Acts, like I say, I mean, we talk about the taxation of then bonuses and that. You know, again, what thing will only happen is that you know, when you give bonus, you know, then we get what we call then a system where for able to track which one are what we call free call, non-free call. You know, why see the bill on forget your infrastructure right, whether infrastructure it also require huge investment. You got to find a way for see how best we will able to tax the companies then. So we and NATCOM, not say NATCOM now they're responsible for regulate, now they're responsible for setting the floor price then. Now the Finance Act what we say is that according to that we get a 10% leeway. Yeah, beyond that, any other call will be taken as a taxable call. In fact, waiting the floor price too is that it gives them the opportunity now instead of and that most of them they file on I think over 650 something like that one, you know. So now the NATCOM help them. They say that will count down to 590. So now we get a cap of 650, then a floor price of 590. Now that can happen.
So in terms of losses, what will be the cost government where the floor price not be in effect?
Yeah, so now we see the GST be go down for some companies where be they pay them 7 billion, 8 billion, they go down to 4 billion. We get some way at some point they almost go to negative. Right. Yeah, so meaning that it go down to negative. Some months where we be expecting a 4 or 5 billion, it go down to then 2 billion. But I tell you for free, in fact, we and NATCOM and all the mobile companies, and we don't sit down, we don't discuss. I think say that problem they will only almost solve now because we don't engage really, we don't talk with them, the competition. In fact, even that from these discussions, now we know say even some companies and the way they compute and GST not be correct. You know, so all of them kind of thing in that confusion will be there, how for file returns, which kind of information. I think we all don't agree.
Alright, so look
and that's now when I will see difference.
Alright, Doctor, let me just look at a few messages and because of time. This very first one I look at from the Facebook page. Milton Magai, they say, we need to get our systems right to prevent people defrauding the state through hidden income. Yeah. Penalties must be in place for anyone found wanting. Even the countries in the West rely on tax for certain developments.
Tunde Scott on Facebook, they say, we have been hearing the same thing from the NRA boss since he took over whenever he's on air. His policies are not economic friendly to businesses and the ordinary man. That is why the cry of economic hardship is all over.
Alright, the final one we go look at, because of time, the person said, Mr. Commissioner, in appointing the new pre-inspection company, was NRA part of the body that selected the new company? Because with vast experience of NRA in revenue collection, should be the right body to NRA should be the right body to appoint the pre-inspection company, because revenue collection is very vital for any nation, but lack of experience in classification and valuation of consignments by the NRA and Customs should create a seminar. NRA and Customs should create a seminar of training for their staffs at the new pre-inspection. The pre-inspection company integrated trade services that took over the African Link inspection. Well, now the person viewed and they say for bringing them people here to the studio.
Okay, the last one from me because of time. So we hope the taken by the Commissioner General will contribute to the economy.
Alright, from that message, and they will come to the Commissioner General for NRA, Dr. Samuel Jibao, as he respond to them, and we are ready for our public program.
Okay, so yes, I agree with the person about the hidden income, and I make will be prioritized and they for said, I mean, it's not fair because I can already say for the hidden income, you know, when them multinationals then hide their income, then they fly out, I think if you not take time, they ever see because the income, they don't fly out of the country. Now, then other domestic income, then I shift them, they shift the income from one sector to the other sector. So at any time we could track them. So now we prioritize them, and we'll continue for deep in that, for make sure say yes, we improve on we audit skill, and that I can now say really that we don't improve significantly, even for the telecoms and the mining companies, the audit capacity don't they really improved. We thank we donors and the IMF and all other defeat etc. for that kind of support we then give. Yes, the Commissioner General, the Commissioner General policies are not economic friendly. Well, I don't know waiting really, because if the Commissioner General deal with the Ministry of Finance and we don't get a policy like for reduced corporation tax from 30% to 25%, we don't reduce a lot of other taxes, even for the disposable income, for let you get more income in your pocket, we don't increase the threshold. Will the government don't also go ahead for reduce the marginal tax when I be 35, we don't reduce until 30%. I don't know whether then in all lots of economic friendly policies, but waiting NRA they do in terms of administration and what we don't they do now for ensure say we get a fair system, and for ensure say if you get for pay we, you get for pay we. We can organize what we call a payment plan, but believe you me, what we not able, they're not able with it. And the fact say if you have hidden income and we don't on act time, we get for pay. And if you get for pay we, you get for pay we. So in terms of enforcement, I think the NRA, that's idea we not the compromiser. But I tell you, as we discover more in terms of their hidden income, then either on the valuation or customs, we improve on that. As we do that, then as government they reduce in rate. And me I tell you now, our rates in this country is very competitive.